your good words. Uh, this is a pleasure and privilege for me to inaugurate the annual colloquium 2020-21 organized by Team NIBM. At the outset, just as Madam said, let me extend my compliments to the management, the faculty, the staff, and especially the young and vibrant students of NIBM for going ahead with life, without really being bogged down by the pandemic and having this program online. These days, this has become the new meeting place. Indian Bank has been associated with NIBM for many decades now. In fact, before I talk of Indian Banks Association, I think I should talk of my association. Almost within the first 10 years of joining SBI, I had the opportunity to undergo a credit management program in NIBM. I think it was for about a week. It was a residential program, and I enjoyed the classes and the teaching as much as I enjoyed the environment and the stay there. We had a good network. It went on for some years after that. Even today, I think the Alumni Association of NIBM is very active. I got a lot of WhatsApp messages from people I worked with in SBI and even in Indian Bank, saying this is my institution, and so we are happy that you are attending this. In Indian Bank, again, there have been many officers who have been sponsored for programs in the NIBM schemes. And there is a full-time program for officers in the post-graduation diploma in banking and finance. I am glad to say that many of the people who have undergone various programs in NIBM are now occupying key verticals and key roles in different verticals in the bank, be it risk management, be it treasury, be it finance or operations. In fact, the Chief Financial Officer of Indian Bank is an officer trained in NIBM of the 2004-5 batch. This shows the intertwining of NIBM and Indian Bank, and I'm very glad to say that wherever we come across the alumni of NIBM working in Indian Bank, either through the, campus recruitment or other recruitments, it's been a very pleasant experience to work with them. The present challenge before us, and especially the banking industry, has been very much in the news for the various ways in which it is getting impacted by the COVID pandemic. This has been the case always, whatever be the risks emanating in the system, in the economy, the first sector to be impacted and to be watched is the banking sector. More because it is a mirror to the economy, and it actually takes both the plus and the minus. And this is a real challenge for the Indian banking industry now. So far, the banking industry in India has been more in the news because of the asset quality issues. And, many of them were supposed to be self-inflicted or inflicted because of things going on in the financial sectors, whether in India or globally. But for the first time, this particular challenge and this particular stress that the Indian banking industry is facing has nothing to do with what the banks have been doing over the last decade or half a decade. This has been more a outside event. It's an outlier event which we are all reading about. But having said that, the virus has impacted all sectors of the economy. It has impacted almost 24 million people across the world, and India is one of the worst affected countries in terms of the number of people infected. This has thrown two pronged challenges, the saving lives and saving livelihoods. The first challenge is to ramp up the health facilities, to improve the facilities for pandemic care across the country. And India definitely was not fully prepared for this kind of outbreak. But I think we quickly caught up. In fact, the resilience and the spirit of the Indian entrepreneur was very much seen when in the initial days there was a total shortage of PPEs, of even sanitizers or even gloves and other such things. But very soon, we not only had enough for the country, but also started exporting. And many of our own units started manufacturing these masks, gloves, And we saw many auto industry units also starting to manufacture ventilators. I think this is what will see us through this, not only this pandemic, but any risk that comes our way in the future. This is going to be the way life is now. Any unexpected hurdle we need to face. And the only preparedness that we can have for that is to have a focus on the immediate things at hand, to see that the risks are managed, the foreseeable risks also we take into account and prepare for them. I think all the digital initiatives that the government and the banks and across the sector India was taking have come in very handy during this pandemic. Otherwise, this seamless transition to a virtual world would not have happened. In our urge to save lives, the center and the states also went into a massive lockdown, and for the first 2-3 months there was almost absolute freeze in many parts of the country. And so this gave rise to the second risk, that is the risk to the livelihoods. Many people were left jobless, mostly the daily wage earners, and we saw the hapless migrant laborers. And this was, I think, the biggest lesson for all of us, that while we take care of our own institutions, our own risks and our own future, we also need to take care of the people working with us, because ultimately all this we are doing is for the people. However much virtual we become, it is ultimately to make life comfortable, easy, and more convenient for the people around us. In the case of banks, it is for the customers, it is for our staff, and it is for the extended family through the banking correspondents or the other outsourced agencies we work with. Similarly, this would pan out across the industry. The banking sector is now facing new challenges almost every day. The asset quality stress, as I mentioned, is not a new phenomenon, but this time around, this is only one of the problems. The threat to the safety of the employees, of customers, as I mentioned, the outsourced agents, the staff getting infected, borrowers losing sources of income, the repayments not coming in time, have all actually been so many pressures coming from different directions on all the banks. There was the additional responsibility of making sure that the emergency loans that the banks themselves have initiated, and the government initiated programs like the emergency guaranteed credit line for MSMEs, and also the direct benefit transfers for the women beneficiaries under the PMJDY accounts, the Jan Dhan Yojana accounts. All this had to be done simultaneously while also maintaining your morale, your staff safety and security. And as you know, it is not easy for a bank with so many branches to just say cordon off the branch and say, yes, we will do only this much and this is how we'll do, which we are trying to say. But given the kind of demographics in India and the kind of spread of the pandemic across the country, it has been inevitable that many of the bank staff have also been infected. And unfortunately, we have also lost some of our employees to this pandemic. And that's the most tragic part of this entire exercise. All steps have been taken, all welfare measures have been put in place, all medical facilities are being provided, but still there's the hand of God. Just like doctors, nurses, and policemen, bankers too made life go on for all of us. I would say that while healthcare workers helped save lives, bankers and other sectors working as essential services helped save livelihoods. As the wheels of the economy are chugging along, though at a slower pace than expected, there are now green shoots visible, both in terms of a vaccine and cure for the pandemic. And the recovery is also being seen in many sectors across the country. Banks have taken this crisis as an opportunity to move quickly in a few areas. Of course, the first initiative was to take care of the safety and security of our own staff in terms of all the protocols, the business continuity plan, and also the attendance at a lower level across the country. Also taking care of the safety and the hygiene factors in the branches. The Indian Bank, to speak of, was among the first banks to come out with the COVID emergency loans for all sectors, including the MSME, the self-help groups, the corporates, the retail, everyone. And this COVID insurance coverage was also extended to all RuPay card holders. There was a RuPay contactless debit card launch, doorstep banking for elders, and mobile ATMs are even now flying across the country. This has led to a leapfrogging into the digital arena for many banks. A video-based customer identification process has been put in place. There has been a digital transformation in internal processes and tablet banking facility. There is a move towards entire paperless banking in many banks and also in Indian Bank. Within 2 months, we expect that at least in all the administrative offices, this paperless system would come into play. As I mentioned, the staff we have tried our best to keep them safe and keep their morale high during this time. This said, I think the risk management system, this was one of the, this is the theme, I believe, of the colloquium also about risk management, portfolio management.
Hello,
Management. Yeah, if there is the main focus for the banks has been the BCP, as I mentioned, the business continuity plan, cyber security, and working from home, launching new modes of managing the work from home. So this, again, all these initiatives throw up new challenges, and as we go, we are addressing them. I think the most important part of this whole thing was that if people are, if our staff have the right attitude, if the customers cooperate in the right way, there is nothing that any institution cannot achieve and any one of us as individuals cannot achieve. As mentioned earlier, Indian Bank has completed the amalgamation of Allahabad Bank into itself. This was announced about 6 months back, but the actual work had to be completed during the COVID time. And you can imagine the kind of distraction or the kind of work that has to go into a bank merging with another bank. But I am very happy to say that it is because of the focus and because of the planning, pre-planning of this entire exercise that the amalgamation went through smoothly. And to prove the point, the Q1 results of Indian Bank, the amalgamated entity, have been very positive, much better than the combined entity compared to last year. So this is just an indication that once we have our eye on the ball and not get distracted by too much of this stress around us, I think we can still overcome this challenge and, as NIBM has proved through this seminar, also face the new challenges that can come in the way. The biggest risk, as I see, is the risk of indecision and fear. When confronted with uncertainty, the default option is to just freeze and let all action pass and then we can go wake up and do something. However, this is not an option for a banker. Our task is to move forward with all confidence that comes about from the risk management practices of the bank, the awareness that comes from our own experience and knowledge, and the empathy that comes from our concern for our customers. This is what has seen our bank through this stressful period. The bank has also carried out stress tests across its portfolios to see which portfolio would be impacted to what extent. And the industries have been again segregated into red, green, and amber zones to take care of the customers who are in need of particular support during this period. The bank has done a lot of things, but I don't want to make it a talk about Indian Bank. It is a talk about risk management and portfolio management, and also especially to the young bankers. It is more about the attitude. It is more about the positivity in thinking. I believe that can see us through. There are many challenges in my own career I have faced across my assignments, but everywhere it appears as if it's the end of the world, but it's not. And there is always a new world ahead. So in this post-COVID world, life is not going to be the same again. I would like NIBM to ponder and to think through whether the risk models that the banks are adopting can be further fine-tuned. Can we have more sophisticated AI tools and credit risk models for the retail segments and for the other customers? Can the banks go for reassessment of people and technology risks in the current scenario? Because these are all new risks emanating from out of the present situation. students, academicians, practitioners, and business leaders may ponder over the above and suggest innovative ideas. We are from Indian Bank side, we welcome all the suggestions and we would like to further interact with NIBM on this. In fact, we are thinking of offering internships for NIBM students in the risk management or whichever area of the bank that they would like to get their hands into. I once again appreciate the team NIBM in organizing this colloquium. This provides an opportunity to future business leaders to have more insight into the practical approach of banking under these challenging times. Only when we get our hands into the actual work and handle things, take decisions, that is when that confidence to face any situation will come. My best wishes to the NIBM students, and I urge them to make use of this opportunity in the best possible way. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.